In 1998, a Rover 100 smashed into a wall at just 64 kilometers per hour. The driver's door tore clean off, the steering wheel crushed the dummy's face. The entire footwell collapsed, turning legs into splinters. And yet, this car was being sold brand new across European showrooms. The shocking part? It wasn't an isolated disaster. For decades, Europe's most popular cars, models your parents probably drove, cars you might have learned to drive in, were nothing more than death traps on wheels. Today, we're exposing the most dangerous cars ever sold in Europe and the shocking transformations that followed. One of them killed so many people, it forced governments to rewrite safety laws. Another was so bad, the manufacturer secretly bought them all back and crushed them. Before we dive in, let me ask, which classic car do you think was secretly the most dangerous? Drop your guess in the comments, I guarantee at least one of them will surprise you. The Rover 100 began life as the Austin Metro, in 1980 Britain's scrappy little answer to city cars like the Fiat Panda and Peugeot 205. By the mid-92nd, while competitors were evolving, the Rover 100 was still basically the same, 1,980 design with a facelift. Then came 1,997 and Euro NCAP's first ever crash tests. The Rover 100 was one of the guinea pigs, and the results? Catastrophic. In the frontal crash at 64 kilometers per hour, the A-pillar collapsed instantly. The driver's door ripped open. The steering wheel shoved back 26 centimeters into the dummy's head. The pedals flew backwards 37 centimeters, guaranteeing broken ankles. The car scored just 1 star. Sales collapsed overnight. Within months, Rover pulled it. By 2005, the company itself was gone. Here's a question. Would you still drive a car that you knew scored 1 star in crash safety just to save money? But the Rover wasn't the only. In the 1,990 seconds, the Fiat Cinquecento was everywhere. Cheap, cheerful, perfect for Italian cities. But it was a rolling coffin. No airbags as standard. A steering column that didn't collapse, just stabbed backward. Flimsy side panels that intruded 30 centimeters in crashes. Italian insurance data proved it. Cinquecento drivers were 3.4 times more likely to be seriously injured than the average car owner. Think about that, 3 times more likely. Would you let your kid drive one of these today? Modern Pandas may cost 18,000 euros compared to 6,500 euros back then, but they're built like tanks by comparison. That extra 11,000 euros isn't greed, it's survival. And if tiny city cars were this bad, what about the hot hatches teenagers were thrashing every weekend? Ah, the Peugeot 205 GTI. Car enthusiasts call it the ultimate hot hatch. Light, raw, pure driving fun. But fun came at a horrific price. No airbags, no ABS, no electronic stability. The body folded in frontal crashes, the engine shoved into the cabin. French accident data showed it had one of the highest fatality rates per kilometer driven. And here's the kicker. The very thing that made journalists call it playful, its snap oversteer, was killing inexperienced young drivers. Do you think modern hot hatches should bring back that wild, dangerous character, or is safety worth losing the raw feeling? Because today's Peugeot 208 GTI is heavier, safer, and faster, but it won't try to kill you in a corner. And if you thought French cars were reckless, wait until you see what German engineering really meant. The Volkswagen Polo Mk2 was a bestseller. Buyers trusted the badge. German engineering meant safe, right? Wrong. Some steel panels were just 0.6 millimeters thick. The monocoque crumpled unpredictably. The steering shaft? Solid. In a crash, it literally impaled drivers. German insurers reported Polo drivers suffered chest injuries at double the rate of other small cars. And that's before we talk about rear-end fires thanks to the fuel tank position. Would you believe a Polo the car sold as the sensible, safe choice could actually be more dangerous than its rivals? The new Polo is bulletproof by comparison. But back then, buying one was like rolling dice with your life. And speaking of gambling with lives, nothing embodied. The Opel Corsa B sold millions across Europe from 1,993 to 2,000. Affordable, practical, and beloved by young drivers. but it was one of the most dangerous cars on the road. The footwell collapsed into passengers' legs. The dashboard shattered into sharp shards. Door latches failed so often that people were literally ejected during crashes. Spanish police data showed the Corsa B had a fatality rate 45% higher than average. So here's my question. If a brand new car today was proven to have a 45% higher fatality rate, do you think people would still buy it if it was cheap enough? Because in the 90 seconds, they did. And even family cars designed to protect kids weren't much better. The Renault 19 was a family favorite. Spacious, comfy, easy to drive. But inside, it was a trap. Thin pillars, thin doors, great for space, terrible for strength. In crashes, the B pillar folded like cardboard. Kids in the back, they only had lap belts, which caused horrific internal injuries. Insurance data confirmed it. Child fatalities were double the family car average in the Renault 19. Let me ask you, would you ever trust a car with only lap belts for your kids? Modern Renaults now have ISOFIX, curtain airbags, reinforced cages. But back then, safety wasn't selling. And if you think that's bad, wait. Launched in 1984, the first SEAT Ibiza was Spain's pride, their first fully homegrown car. But pride turned to scandal fast. The structure was weak, roof pillars collapsed in rollovers, recycled steel rusted through, and worst of all, the fuel line. In crashes, it ruptured and sprayed gasoline over the hot engine. Firefighters reported the Ibiza caught fire 3 times more often than the average car. Imagine buying a car, knowing a crash could mean not just injury, but burning alive. Would you risk it? Modern Ibizas are unrecognizable. 5 stars in Euro NCAP, 7 airbags, Volkswagen engineering. But the first generation? It was a national embarrassment. Here's the reality. Modern cars aren't expensive because companies are greedy. They're expensive because you're paying for decades of lessons, written in blood. Every reinforced pillar, every airbag, every crumple zone exists because someone died without it. In 1991, Europe saw 75,000 road deaths. By 2023, even with twice as many cars, the number fell to 20,000. That's not luck, it's engineering. So think about this. Every extra Euro NCAP star adds about 2,000 euros in manufacturing costs. 5 stars? That's 10,000 euros of hidden safety built into your car. Yes, cars are heavier, more complex, more expensive to repair, but they're also 95% more likely to keep you alive in a serious crash. So let me ask, would you rather have a cheap car with character or an expensive one that lets you walk away from an accident? The Rover 100, Fiat Cinquecento, Peugeot 205, VW Polo Mk2, Opel Corsa B, Renault 19, and SEAT Ibiza Mk1 cars that shaped Europe but also killed thousands. Their modern replacements may be heavier, pricier, and less exciting, but they've saved tens of thousands of lives. That boring hatchback in your driveway, with its thick pillars and electronic safety nets, is the direct result of tragedies your parents' generation lived through. So the next time someone says cars today are overpriced, remember, safety costs money, but funerals cost more. And now I want to know, which of these 7 cars shocked you the most, and would you still drive one today? Let me know in the comments.